Imagine a woman skiing at full speed through snowy mountains, with secret documents hidden in her gloves and a pistol at her waist. The Nazis are hunting her everywhere. She has 5 different identities, and she's just crossed into enemy territory for the 6th time. No, this isn't the plot of a James Bond film. It's the real-life story of Christine Granville, the spy who would later inspire Ian Fleming's legendary Bond girls. When we think of World War II spies, we picture men in trench coats exchanging briefcases in dark alleys. But in reality, some of the boldest and most dangerous espionage operations were carried out by brave women who risked everything for freedom. And none shone brighter than Christine Granville. Winston Churchill called her my favorite agent. For the Nazis, she was a ghost slipping across borders. Today, we're diving into the true story of this incredible woman, a tale more thrilling, dangerous, and extraordinary than any work of fiction. Christine Granville was born Christina Skarbek on May 1st, 1908, in Warsaw, Poland. Her father was a Polish aristocrat, her mother the daughter of a banker. From a young age, Christina proved she was different. While other girls of her class learned piano and embroidery, she preferred riskier pursuits. It's said she learned to ride a horse before she could walk, and by age 6, she was galloping alone through the vast forests of her family estate. She was utterly fearless, recalled one of her governesses. Once I found her on the roof of the main house. When I asked what she was doing, she casually replied that she wanted to see the world from above. Her beauty was as striking as her courage. She was a finalist in the 1930 Miss Poland competition. However, she withdrew before the final round, reportedly saying, "I'd rather be admired for what I do, not how I look." In 1938, Christina married Jerzy Gizicki, a Polish diplomat posted in Ethiopia. It was there, far from home, that she received the news that would change her life. Germany had invaded Poland. Without hesitation, Christina convinced her husband to return to Europe. They traveled to London, where she boldly approached British intelligence with an offer. She would return to Nazi-occupied Poland as a secret agent. At first, British officials rejected her. In 1939, recruiting women as field agents was unthinkable. But Christina was persistent. During one interview, she unfolded a map and traced a winter route through the snowy mountains between Hungary and Poland. "I can ski across these mountains in the dead of winter," she explained. "I can bring propaganda to the Polish resistance and return with vital intelligence." Her confidence and determination eventually convinced MI6. In December 1939, Christina Skarbek was given a new identity, Christine Granville. Armed with false papers and minimal training, Christine and her partner Andrzej Kowarski set off for Budapest. She skied across the Tatra Mountains into occupied Poland. Her first mission was a resounding success. She not only distributed anti-Nazi propaganda to resistance groups, but also gathered critical information about German troop movements near the Soviet border, intelligence suggesting a future invasion of Russia. This was relayed to London. Over the next several months, Christine made multiple border crossings between Hungary and Poland. With each trip, the danger grew. The Gestapo began hearing rumors of a beautiful Polish spy working for the British. On one trip, Christine visited the Warsaw Ghetto and witnessed the appalling conditions endured by the Jewish population. Using resistance contacts, she helped several family members escape to Hungary. By early 1941, Budapest had become too dangerous. Christine and Andrzej were identified by Gestapo agents and placed under surveillance. Eventually, both were arrested by pro-German Hungarian police. During her interrogation, Christine stayed calm. Accused of being a British spy, she did something unexpected. She bit her tongue so hard it bled profusely. Spitting blood, she claimed she had tuberculosis, a highly contagious and feared illness at the time. The trick worked. Terrified of infection, her interrogators released her. Christine quickly contacted the British Embassy, which arranged for her and Andre to be evacuated. Her next destination was Cairo, where the SOE, Special Operations Executive, Churchill Sabotage and Espionage Organization, was establishing a Mediterranean base. In Cairo, Christine received specialized training in sabotage, clandestine communications, and hand-to-hand combat. Her instructors were amazed by her adaptability and icy composure. She has the steadiest nerves I've ever seen in a man or woman, wrote one superior. Between 1941 and 1944, Christine carried out numerous missions across the Mediterranean and Europe. Fluent in several languages, she became an invaluable asset. In 1942, she infiltrated an Italian military base posing as a French journalist. While distracting a general, her partner photographed classified documents, blueprints vital for the Allied landing in Sicily. In early 1943, she was sent to the Balkans to contact Yugoslav partisans. Traveling with a local guide, she crossed German-controlled territory, dodged minefields, and reached the partisan camp in the mountains. In another daring mission, she posed as the French wife of a German officer and gained access to military installations in southern France. What stood out most wasn't just that Christine succeeded in her missions. She often improvised brilliantly when things went wrong. Once, while transporting secret documents, she was stopped by the Gestapo. As officers searched her luggage, Christine flirted shamelessly with the commanding officer. Her beauty and charm distracted him enough to miss the hidden compartment with the documents. "I used what I had," she said later. "Sometimes it was my looks, sometimes a gun." The key was staying calm and adapting. But her most legendary mission came in 1944. Christine parachuted into southern France to help prepare for the Allied invasion. Her task: coordinate resistance sabotage against German communications and transport. Using the codename Pauline, she worked with the Jockey Network, led by British agent Francis Camerts, with whom she developed a passionate romantic relationship. On August 13, 1944, Camerts and two colleagues were arrested and sentenced to death. Their execution was set for 48 hours later. Christine made a bold decision. She would rescue them herself. With help from a local contact, she located Albert Schenk, the French officer collaborating with the Nazis and overseeing the prison. Christine walked straight into his office, posing as a British agent and niece of General Montgomery, a complete fabrication. She calmly informed Schenk that the Allies were about to liberate the region, and Nazi collaborators would be executed unless they helped the resistance. Then she offered him 2 million francs to release the prisoners. The mix of threat and bribe worked. That night, Schenk arranged their release while Christine waited outside. This daring rescue cemented her status as one of the SOE's most effective and courageous agents. She later received the George Medal, one of Britain's highest civilian honors. Among those impressed by her exploits was a young naval intelligence officer named Ian Fleming. He likely met Christine in Cairo around 1941. Fascinated by her beauty and fearless personality, Fleming later admitted to being captivated by this Polish aristocrat turned spy. "She was the perfect combination of brains and beauty," he told a friend. Christine's independence, her defiance of social norms, and her thrilling life of danger and romance fired Fleming's imagination. When he began writing Casino Royale in 1952, the women he created bore a striking resemblance to Christine. Vesper Lind, the first Bond girl, was a mysterious double agent. Tatiana Romanova in From Russia with Love was a Soviet agent who fell for the man she was meant to betray. They all shared Christine's beauty, intellect, skill, and complex loyalties. Though Fleming never publicly admitted it, many historians believe Christine was a direct inspiration for his female characters. When World War II ended, Christine faced a new challenge: peace. After 6 years of purpose and danger, her life as a spy abruptly ended. Like many SOE agents, she was dismissed by the British government. Despite her decorated service, she received minimal compensation and, after much lobbying, British citizenship. She had nowhere to go. Poland was under Soviet control. As an aristocrat and Western agent, returning meant persecution. Her marriage had ended. She had no home, no close family, no civilian career. They trained me to parachute, shoot, and kill, she once said bitterly. But no one taught me how to live in peacetime. Post-war years were hard. She briefly worked as a flight attendant, using her language skills, but the routine life bored her. In 1949, she settled in London and rented a small room in the Shelbourne Hotel in Earl's Court, working as a waitress. The irony was painful. The woman who had outwitted the Gestapo and rescued agents from execution now served coffee to officers who had never heard of her. Among the hotel staff was Dennis Muldowney, a merchant seaman turned porter. He quickly became obsessed with Christine. Her exotic beauty and mysterious aura mesmerized him. Christine initially dismissed his behavior. She had handled far more dangerous men. She set clear boundaries. But Muldowney's obsession grew. By spring 1952, Christine had secured a job on a cruise line. It wasn't the thrill she was used to, but it was an escape. On June 15, 1952, Christine returned to the hotel after dinner with friends. Muldowney was waiting in the lobby. He asked for one last chance. She declined. He pulled a hidden knife and stabbed her in the heart. Christine Granville, who had survived Nazi interrogations, mountain crossings, and countless life-or-death missions, died instantly in a cheap London hotel lobby. She was 44. Muldowney didn't flee. At his trial, he said, "She was everything wonderful in life. If I couldn't have her, no one would." He was convicted and hanged 3 months later. Christine's funeral was modest. A few former SOE colleagues and friends attended. There were no official honors or public recognition. Most of her exploits were still classified. She was buried in St. Mary's Roman Catholic Cemetery in Kensal Green, London. Her gravestone, paid for by SOE colleagues, reads, Christine Granville, OBE, Gem, Croix de Guerre. Served in World War II as Britain's first female agent. For decades, her story remained largely unknown. As James Bond films became a global phenomenon, glamorizing espionage, Christine's real-life feats faded into forgotten archives. This began to change in the 1990s as war documents were declassified. Historians like Madeleine Masson and Claire Muley began uncovering and sharing Christine's life. In 2013, more than 60 years after her death, a commemorative plaque was installed at the hotel where she was murdered, a small but significant tribute. What makes Christine's story so powerful is not just the contrast between her wartime heroics and her tragic end, but how her real life outshone fiction. Bond girls are often side characters, sometimes helpful, but rarely central. Christine was the hero of her own espionage story. Where Bond girls are saved, Christine saved others. Where they use beauty as a distraction, Christine wielded hers alongside intelligence, bravery, and skill. Today, Christine Granville is remembered as a pioneer, a woman who defied stereotypes and changed the course of war from the shadows. Her life reminds us that sometimes reality is more extraordinary than fiction. Next time you see a Bond girl on screen, beautiful, brilliant, brave, remember the real woman who inspired her. Christine Granville. Because behind the glamour, there was once a spy who skied through enemy lines, faced the Gestapo, and saved lives, all while changing the face of espionage forever. Thanks for joining me for this story. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future stories from the past. Every click you make helps more people discover these stories. See you in the next episode.